Hey, this is Patrick for P-Dub's Random World, and thanks for sticking in with another episode. Been a little lax on my giveaways, so stay tuned until the end. I've got actually 2 for you this week to make up for last week. And we're going to look at some of the stuff going on in Profit Trailer and how it's affecting us in the market and in our program. So stay tuned.
Steady yourself even though you know that you're falling. Maybe you're falling, but you're still alive.
Okay, everybody. So today, I'm going to try to speed this up and get more information in and try to make it a little better for your time so I'm not wasting it so much. So, as I mentioned at the end of the episode here, I'm going to call out the 2 people who are this week's lucky winners of my $5 giveaway. One for last week, one for this week, and it's not because I'm lazy, but it's because I was being lazy. Alright, so a lot of things going on. So some of you people out there have heard about the what they're trying to do with the Profit Trailer now, and they're trying to get the best things out there for what's going to make it, well, work best. How can they enhance it and upgrade it to make it better for everybody? Now, I put in a request here, and we'll go over this here, but this is where they're looking at the PT Enhancement games. Now, I am psyched about this because there are so many different things that can make this program better. I think it's got one of the strongest platforms out there, and I think as they continue to tweak it and our community continues to grow and we continue to provide feedback, it's only going to help us all out. So that is definitely a plus. But one of the negatives here is, I guess, trying to convey what you mean. So this right here is mine, feature request number 137, paper trading for live strategy testing. Now, what I said here basically was, let's dial in our strategies without actually losing money. Sounds great, right? I don't know if I got that across, because the response that I ended up getting was, there is no way this would be any more accurate than the testing now, as you cannot implement expired orders, ping latency, or partial buy sells into this. Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, here's my account, here's a add-on ledger. Well, let's go ahead and and when it hits the numbers, place the order to your ledger, not to the system. When it hits the sell number, sell to your ledger, not your system. And then keep track of that. You are going to see if it is working without losing all your money. You can, and even to the point to where you can put in a value for your expected, well, Bitcoin that you might have. So say you want to act like you're a big baller trading with, let's call it 10 Bitcoin here. That's a lot for most of us here, and I'm nowhere near that. So let's go ahead and say that we are doing that. So if I wanted to test my settings on my budget and see how it's working in the current market conditions, maybe give it a day, give it a 2, give it a week, or maybe I'm going to run it side by side while I'm actually running my existing to see if it's going to do better. It's going to allow me to see and tweak, and I can compare it, what I'm actually running against what I could be running on these settings, and it's going to give me a live action tracker. Now, I don't think that it does anything as far as ping latency or expired orders. We're not doing any expired orders. We're not looking back here. You know, this isn't a what if then had happened. This is a let's log it here as a buy, let's log it here as a sell, and look at what we made on paper, not in the system. So it's really just an add-on to Profit Trailer that would, well, it's basically a testing ground. So when they've got the test feature in the Profit Trailer, it doesn't actually let you test what you want to do. So I'm actually going to take it upon myself, and I'm putting together a small development team, well, working on it. It's pretty hard to find people that you can trust with this type of thing. and that are competent in what I'm trying to do, because obviously I don't want to do anything proprietary to Profit Trailer, because those guys are awesome and they give us a great product. But I went to them, I entered this, and you know, I thought that I got it across, and it just seems that I didn't. So you know, PT feeders out there, PT Magic, PT Tracker, they're useful add-ons, and if Profit Trailer's not going to actually make what we need to go in there, well, there are ways to get around that. And where I see this as a huge opportunity to help people, because I mean, you've seen my settings, guys. You've seen the blows that I take to the belly. Oh, don't mind the robe. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but man, I'm feeling comfy today. But there's so much opportunity for that to help everybody. You know, take for instance Crypto Gnome. He is constantly trying and updating his settings, because for the most part his settings are a standard across the board. You know, I tell people, hey, go check out Crypto Gnome. His settings are some of the best out there as far as what people use. I've looked at them a couple times. I haven't went with it because I'm I'm stubborn. I'm one of those find my own way guys. I love the numbers. I love to look at ways to hedge the edge, I guess. And it's not working for me right now. And it's because I've been learning features as I've been looking at numbers. Now, later on this week, before next week, I'm going to probably do an end of week before the update video. I'm going to have a separate video about DCA and how you can figure what you can use on your balance. Now, I know there's a dude out there who's got, what I've seen, a pretty nasty sheet about how to set this up, where you could just plug in some information. But I want to give you some kind of background there on how you can understand exactly what it is going to be doing. So if you want to calculate and change things accordingly, I run with a full, I use all of my account, down to the very last Satoshi, if I can. But there are risks in that. You know, we're in right now market. Looking at this here, this gives me a good segue here. Looking at this here, you know, after I did that clearing on the last time, I come back and I took a pretty big bounce. And the problem is, and this is what I dislike most about Bitcoin. You know, we love how up and down it is and sporadic and all over the place, but the bad thing about it is that it's up and down and sporadic and all over the place. Having said that, when we fluctuate here in our value on Bitcoin within $500, we take a beating. You know, it's hard to use the trigger to where we say, I don't have the trigger set up in mind, and I need to for the Bitcoin, you know, sudden trend movement. But well, I definitely need to. But it's hard. It's hard because as a person who looks at this, you know, on a regular basis, yeah, I love to watch my bot work. I love to watch it do its things. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't. Like, look at me right now. I've got this at a total of 4 pairs, just for the simple fact that my budget is tapped on this. So now, some of you may have seen, I did a video, I believe last weekend, about pretty much the best strategy to deal with bags. Well, that's what I'm doing. And me, I'm getting a peace of mind, because those bags, they're not going away anytime soon. And I understand that. So I'm going to need to eventually put some more money in here if I want to continue to play around. But the market has taken, you know, it's just taken a gut shot after a gut shot after a gut shot. It doesn't matter if we hear good news, bad news, indifferent news, regular news. It's a shit show. Because if it's good for Bitcoin, altcoins lose. If it's bad for Bitcoin, altcoins lose. And if it's good for Bitcoin again, the altcoins lose. that's just the gist of it. When you look at where some of these things are, I use POLONIEX. Let's look at the Bitcoin market. Let's look at Litecoin. Now, I'll use that, and I like 5 minute on my candles just because it gives me an accurate representation. So Bitcoin today has been playing around a little bit, 11 to 11 and a half, and in that kind of range. So let's see in the last 6 hours what Bitcoin's been doing. Oh, we're down here playing around kind of sideways, but that's not before we dropped pretty good. And let's look at the over the day. Oh yeah, you know, we dropped pretty good, but because we were up from recovering yesterday, and we were recovering yesterday because Bitcoin was going sideways. So if Bitcoin's going up, our altcoins are going down. If Bitcoin is going down, our altcoins are going down. Doesn't seem like a fair trade-off. But anytime that Bitcoin is going sideways and it is stable, our coins are going to fluctuate to where we can do those percentages and those constant trades. So finding a way to tap into the market where we are sideways is the best time. But even the better thing is if we could find a way to stabilize in the increase and decrease. And that's where the DCA comes in there. But the problem is when you have so much stuff that is changing high, you know, when it's going half a grand up, half a grand down, 2 grand down, you know, you're getting caught on the upside and the downside. And then you very easily get put into, let's look at it here, bag hell. Now some of these are at 34% like my Stellar was, but it was at like 40% for me. And I put a little in there to chip it away, and you guys seen that on there for a while. But we don't have recoveries. You know, Bitcoin will recover in between the ups and the downs, but our altcoins are not recovering between those ups and downs. So when you're looking at Litecoin here, and you're looking at, you know, on the 6 hour, it's down. On the 12 hour, it's about where it was yesterday. But if you look on the 2 day, I say 12 hour, I meant 24. You look on the 2 day, we were down from where we spiked up, so we're still over, you know, relatively. But we're still down a little bit. But if you look at the 4 day, we're down. The 1 week, we're down. 2 weeks, you know, we're still down from where we were. And you look at a month, well, we're up from where we were at the beginning of the month. That, honestly, for my point, that's not the best coin, because Litecoin is generally one of those heavy hitters that has consistent volume and stays consistently. It doesn't rock as much, which is why I'm generally not the biggest fan of trading in it, because it doesn't move fast enough for me. But when it moves up slowly, it moves down faster. You see that? Over, hey, up really quick, but we're just going to continue to go down here. So one of my, this is, you can't laugh at me for this because I actually enjoy this coin because it is crazy. I like game. Where are you at here? The game coin for game credits. Now, let's take a look at it. And on the 6 hour, like, if you look here, there's not a tremendous amount of volume. But sometimes there's a lot of volume on it. It hits up to 100, 120, 150, and that's decent volume for what I'm looking for. But if you look at it in times like this, it's jumpy, it hedges over. Right now, when it's one of those things. When it's stale, it's not a good coin to trade. When it's popping though, well, it's fun because, well, you can take a look and see some of those things there. Because it gets fun to where you're selling in it like 4.41%, and then, you know, even looking over here, 464. But I like those coins that jump around a lot like that, and it's it's fun when you're caught in the midst of one of those. So, you know, all things aside, you know, you look at that on the 24 and it's down from yesterday, and you look at it and it's down from 2 days. 4 days, it's still down. A week, it spiked up, and that's where it had to come down. Man, that's a really crazy pump and dump. Man, I can't say that I got hit for that because I made some decent money on that, but if it'll pump once, it'll pump twice, and many other times, and those guys aren't going away anytime soon. But even on the 2 weeks, you know, you're still looking at being down. You know, you may pump it up here and it's going to come down. They pump it up here and it's going to come down. I'm about due for a pump on it, I guess, if Bitcoin can get its mind made up. But consistently going down now. You know, and this is just since the beginning of February on the month. So a month of going down. And what is that? That is because Bitcoin has spent the month going up. You know, it's been making that recovery from the down into sub 6,000 and making it all the way up to where it's even testing the 12,000 mark. You know, we're the resistance, we're pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and me, you know, everybody out there is saying, man, you know what, pushing that and pushing it up and pushing it up. If Bitcoin goes really expensive, that's going to be great. Well, yeah, it's gonna bring in some more money for the actual coin market, but the problem is it's going to wreak havoc on people that are trading in between pairs. Because if you're a bot trader, and even if you're not a bot trader, you're a person who's doing these trades on your own, well, that's even worse, because you are stuck in this, and the only thing you can do is buy it, set it, and forget it, and wait till it hits that mark and hope it doesn't drop down so much. I mean, you can keep DCA in it, and I've seen some really nice techniques out there for making those sells when it comes, well, when you really need to. I mean, you can totally do it like a day trader on the Forex stock market, but I don't really want to be doing that, because I mean, there's uncertainty in the crypto world. That's a given. That's why our graphs look like seismic charts, is because it hits and it's down, and it hits and it's down, and that's what gives us the opportunity as traders here. Now, I did get a nice comment from a gentleman here. I'm gonna call this one out. Troy Walsh. So I'm probably going to reach out to him to talk to him about this, because I guess he's using the ETH pairs. Now it's on Binance, and I don't use Binance. I'm on POLONIEX, but I'm sure somewhere in there it's going to be a little similar. But if I'm looking at, you know, the ETH market here, you know, we've got a handful of coins, and some of them are ones that I like to move in, and you know, I feel are probably going to be a little better, like GNT. I find myself playing around with that one every now and then. You know, it's on the upswing against Ethereum. Man, I need to start getting me an Ethereum bot going. But you know, he made a recommendation here, and it says, you know, he's finding his bags are way more manageable because all the ERC20 tokens are more stable versus ETH than Bitcoin. Less violent shitbagging swings for sure. So I'm probably going to have to agree with him on that. And that's my biggest thing about Ethereum, is because Ethereum is just more reliable for not heavy swings up and down, except against the Bitcoin. When you buy it, I don't expect that it's going to be something that 20 minutes later I'm going to have a 2% gain. Of course, it does mean that 10 minutes later I may have a 2% loss, and it's continuing to go there, but it's also going to stay down at that loss a lot longer than most of my other coins are. And the same thing with Litecoin. Those two are, you know, really I'm just not the biggest fan of them because they're not shakers and movers. And when you're looking at the volatility of the market that I am and that you are, well, that's really what we're looking for, is the volatility. We just need to make it a little more predictable. So, off of that tangent of the tangent, let's get back to the feature request here. So, I guess I'm going to reach out to some of you guys out there in the community here. So, any of you have any experience in this? Because tell me what you think. I am really curious to hear about that. Yeah, I just realized I keep bumping my table here. Somebody also let me know that every time I hit the table, I'm bumping it all over the place, and probably. One of these days I'll actually go upstairs to the office and shoot my videos there, but a little nicer down here. Not as cluttered with all of my work. So when I look at it here, I am going to be looking at, well, still super pumped about all the enhancements that they're going to do, because there's a lot of people with some really creative ideas. So if you get the opportunity, definitely go check it out on GitHub. I'll put the link down in the comments, so you can go there and you can make some comments. Post your request. In case you didn't see it in the Discord channel or haven't heard about it from somebody else, post your request. You know, I think my idea is great, and I'm looking for some people to collaborate with it. But your idea might be great too, and it might be what makes Profit Trailer that much better for everybody to use. Me, personally, I like the paper trading opportunity because it doesn't cost me money. I can learn without costing myself money. You know, I put my money on there and I'm prepared to lose it. But that doesn't mean I want to. And even better, if I don't have to lose my money to see how much differently I could do it, like I could literally take and put my settings up against Crypto Gnome or Face or any of the other guys out there and see what it's going to be like. Or I can even test their settings to see what it's going to look like for me compared to what it is them. Even more importantly, I'll be able to change what it is that my value. I can give it a fictitious value of my Bitcoin in there, so I can know what I'm actually doing. So if I want to look at what it's going to be like when I'm trading with that 10 Bitcoin, or if I'm trading with the $500 that I've got left because I lost everything else. That's not the situation I'm in right now, but you get what I mean. I'd like to see it before I spend it. So definitely leave me some comments in here. I'm looking for ideas or places to outreach to build a team to do that. And also, you know, don't be afraid of these crap coins. I'm going to try to quit cursing a little bit here. But some of these coins, you know, they're not the best thing to hold. Maybe you don't have the utmost respect for their position, but we are unbiased. That's what we do. We are actually just on here to make money. You know, some of these coins, I don't care. If I'm supporting a coin because I'm buying it and I'm holding on to it, obviously I want to really care about what they are doing. Now, don't get me wrong. Knowing about their what they stand for, their technology, what they're actually raising the money for, what the ICO is for, that's going to be helpful to, especially to some of you guys, because that's going to let you know how volatile that coin is going to be. Because if the project is utter crap, well, obviously you can't expect that it's going to have a high value, and if it does, you know, it's more than likely somebody's scamming you or pumping and dumping it. And obviously you don't want to be subject to any of those when the bag is left hanging. So definitely, I'd say do your due diligence. I don't put as much time in it. I actually spend more time watching it than I do researching it. And, well, that's not good, but I have so many other things that I'm constantly working on, book, engineering projects, and I'm a dad. You know, all of us have lives. That's one thing I also want to say here. The whole point of Profit Trailer is not just about buying and selling. It's about putting your mind at ease that you can have it buy and sell for you while you are away from it. So you can actually live your life out there instead of in front of the computer and watching it. Well, that's where, you know, the Telegram is good, because you can see when it buys and sells. So you can keep yourself good there, get your own little hit of dopamine when it comes in, and you're good. But all things aside, let's get back on point here. So this is the newest development this week, other than the fact that I'm just dealing with the 4 small pairs here. I took my entire, and I say my entire, I only had a small, like 0.008 that was not being used by this by all my coins that were stuck. And I thought I was good with my DCA setting beforehand, but it turns out I was not. Now, like I said, market goes up, market goes down. Even within that $500 mark of up and down within a day or 2 days, it still hurts us going up, hurts us going down, and we get stuck in the bags. So the only bag that I had before all of this happened was the Stellar. And I sold out on everything else, and I started investing. And here's where I'm at now. The least expensive profit margin loss. Well, this isn't actually legit, to be honest. That 847, it's a little flubbed. And let me tell you why. Because, and you're probably going to notice, I do not have my other bot up here. Liam's bot is not running. And I will show you why. Yeah, that's Liam. And let's get Liam bot going here. And let's take a look and see what he's got going on. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I dumped some stuff in. These are all the things that I've got enabled currently that I can buy. If you notice here, I have no balance to buy. And there's a reason for that. I dumped one coin into everything else and let it, I took and put the rest of mine, which was like 0.006, into a coin and let it roll. Because I decided I'm not going to let my computer continue to run and run and run all the time. And I'm probably going to end up doing this to P-dubs, and I may spend a couple, 3-4 days where I'm just not running my profit trailer. So in my pending log, if some of you've seen, you can actually, I've got a video, I'll link it down below, where you can actually set up to use your pending log as a get out of jail free card. So my best way to handle bags, and I know there are going to be a lot of you out there that disagree, is don't. Ignore them. Get rid of them. Well, don't get rid of them. Take them, stick them on the shelf, and leave them there till later. Because more than likely, if you were not trading with your entire thing, like I do, then you have more money to play with. And if you're a believer in what you're actually doing here, you've still got some money that you can stick in and play with. However, I take those bags that I don't feel like waiting for them to come back around. I take them and I say, what do I want to make on this coin? Now, my buy trick, my sell trigger is normally 0.85. It was 1%, then I went with a 0.85 to get a little more movement. And honestly, on the other one, I dropped it down to 0.5% just to get more buys. And I did not much, but only on 4 pairs before I got stuck in the rut again. Just my balance is so low on that one that I can't actually do what I want to system-wise, because literally I've been figuring, you know, doing a little bit of math on what I was going to do with some of the strategy and the DCA and how I was going to make it work for me, and I just can't because of the budget. So when I look at this here, I manually took and said, this is what I paid for the coin. So what I paid for the coin, I took and I wrote it down. And then I took and I multiplied it by 1.03, which means that I want a 3% gain on that coin, and I will leave it set until I get it. Now, obviously I haven't got any of that, but when I'm looking here, this Litecoin was down, but it's changing over the day. You know, Stellar went up. That one was like 45% down, but Stellar went up. You know, it's getting some of its ground back, but it's still nowhere near. You know, these things were DCA'd 1, 2, sometimes some of them 3 times, and the thing was, Bitcoin was going up, it was going down, and each time the altcoin was losing. So when you're buying the altcoin here, when the market is actually somewhat, and it's going up and down, that coin's just going down. I couldn't DCA fast enough to keep up with how fast those coins were going down and how bad the market was doing it. And I know all you guys are in the same situation because I'm hearing about it. And some of you, yeah, you are being a little more creative, or you have a little more budget than I do, or some other guys, and you're able to get yourself out of it. And, well, I've seen some other guys on here that are finding a way to get through those pretty good. And kudos, that's where I want to be. I don't want this sea of red. But, you know, I watched Dan Debacle. He's got a nice little show there too. Actually, he was what inspired me to get on here and start doing some things as well, because I feel like I have some knowledge to offer people, and I feel like, you know, I'm an asset to the community like everybody else, you know. But I like his shows because, you know, most of the guys that you're going to find on here are completely honest about what's going on. You know, they're not going to be afraid to show you these red bags and say, you know, they're hell. They are. I'm not making money when I'm in the red. I'm not making money when I'm holding a bag. You look here, you look at my sales log, because I pretty much shut this one out. You know, in the last week, I've made $1.05 out of all of my stuff there. That's, you know, and that's just not good. So I stuck those all. I placed manual orders with a 3% gain and put them on there, and now I don't even have to worry about this bot anymore. I'm not running this bot. I've used up all of its assets, and until the market starts giving me some of this back here, this bot is off limits. Those things are off limits to me. I may come back on here and I may take and pick a coin, say, hey, I'm going to take Litecoin, and I'm going to buy it down and then place my order, and then it'll probably hit a little sooner. That's one thing that you can do to get out of some of those bags, because you know these things are going to come back. You just need to, it's a waiting game. But if you're like me, you don't want to wait any more than a day or two, but you know, you may have to wait a week or 2 or 3, because you've seen what it did in February. Your coins are just going down. And now we're in March, and the thing is, everybody was speculating that the middle of February Bitcoin was going to go back, and you know what? They were right. Most of us knew it. I mean, I had suspicions, but you know, what are you going to do? But we didn't really know that it was going to take such a beating on the altcoins, which is where we make our money by trading them against them. So I mean, when this stuff starts to sell off, and I'm sure it'll probably be within the next week or 2, I'll start looking at bringing this bot back up and, you know, start trading in there. But if I wanted to, I could load more money in here, and, you know, those are used. You know, they're in limbo. I can sell, buy, like, literally. I'm up here, I'm looking, Litecoin, Stellar, Ripple, Ethereum Classic, you know, all of these, Bitcoin. I mean, all of them. The ones that I have down here, I can still sell in them. Well, if I put the money in there. But I can still sell in them, and that's not that big of a deal. But the thing is, I'm just not doing it right now because I'm letting the dust settle over here. I'd rather lose a week or 2 of letting stuff get its way out there, because obviously I'm not making $1 million overnight. But I do need to refine my process and make it better. So definitely, if you agree with me, and maybe this strategy isn't for you, what would you recommend? What do you think is something else that I could do that would definitely level the playing field here? So that's where Liam's bot. We're going to go ahead and close that one because he's just not needed right now. And then we'll look over here. So this is where we get to my actual update. I'm stuck in things, and I've got all these things moved. But like I said, I put a 3% gain on each one of those sell orders. So I'm going to make 3% on them. And I've still got 4 other sets out here that I can make money on. Just, I set it at 4 because with such a small balance, I wanted to be able to DCA a couple of times, but I wanted to have a really small buy budget. And since you have your minimum buy is 0.0012 that you have to have set up in here, it kind of defeats the purpose. So literally, these 4 pairs, they're just flailing around hoping to make a little bit of budget here and there with capital that was just sitting around. So, I mean, until stuff starts selling and bags start clearing themselves, I'm in a situation where there's not a whole lot I can do unless I want to take a loss. And, you know, I told you guys I did it before. I don't want to do it again. There's a lot of other guys out there that may take a little loss so they can move stuff. I'm getting to the point where, and I'm not fed up with this program at all, because it's not the program. It's me. It's been my mentality. It was my mentality from the start when I started it that I was going to, you know, make a consistent percentage. And I did, and things changed. But it just comes down to I didn't plan properly. I didn't take the time to understand the functions and the uses and the things that can be that it can do. So I urge anybody out there using Profit Trailer, if you're confused about settings, definitely hit me up in the comments. I will definitely get those comments to you. So first off, we're going to go and we are looking at, we're at that point in time where I want to let you know who our winners are today. So I have the winners. They're going to be down. Actually, I'm going to put them way up top because I'm down here in this corner. Stick them way up top there. And these are your winners for this week's and last week's raffle. So send me a message. Definitely, I don't mind giving away a few bucks. And when I hit my 1,000 subscription, I plan on doing a $50 giveaway for the 1,000. So I'm going to take and do a random, not just anybody that leaves comments, but it's going to be anybody subscribed to my channel. At the lucky 1,000, I'm going to do the giveaway, and we'll keep this rolling. I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Definitely helping me grow my channel. If you don't have Profit Trailer and you do want it, or the Profit Trailer feeder, which I'm not currently, I'm not going to run Profit Trailer feeder. I've kind of sold myself to the fact that I'm going to figure out some of the ins and outs of my setup before I go to that. And myself, I don't want to invest the extra money in it right now, just because the way I'm taking the beating on my, well, honestly, on my entire portfolio, as you were able to see. Profit Tracker is probably something coming in the future. I spoke with somebody about getting a look at it, and the PT Tracker I think might be advantageous, but to me, honestly, I'm not keeping track of my stuff right now. You haven't seen me pull up my spreadsheet because, to me, in my head, it doesn't really exist anymore. Until I got consistency of performing to where I'm moving stuff the way that I want to, I'm not worried about tracking it. There is no profit because I'm down, so I'm not worrying about it until I figure out where I'm going to get it through there. So definitely, again, you know, if you found this useful, some of the information in here useful, I really recommend going and taking a look at the future requests there for the Profit Trailer enhancements. Get your ideas in there. They're finishing up here at the end of March, and they're going to look at the top 3. It looks like they're putting the top 3 in the next engagement. Happy things. I mean, it's only going to improve for all of us. I mean, I know there's some big name guys out there, CryptoFace, CryptoGnome, even, oh man, his name it eludes me now here. CryptoCrow, there we go. I mean, some of those big guys are using it, and I know that some of them got to be pumped and excited because some of them have a little more clout with the guys over at PT because they've been using it a lot longer than I have from the get-go. But the end result is we need to see what we all need. We need to get it functioning. And one way or another, I'm going to take on another project somehow, and I want to get that add-on for the paper trading. So definitely, if you like it, subscribe, share it, leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what I can improve on. And also, I'd like to know, I'm looking for more content ideas. You know, what you guys want to see other than me jibber-jabbing about whatever's going on here. I'd like this to be more informational than personal. So, I put out a weekly. I'm going to call it a weekly. I was doing it every few days, 3 days or something, and then every week. I want to call it a weekly. I want to give it a weekly update on the profit trailer, where I'm doing and what I can do to help you, and hopefully that will help you engage with me, and I can create content based around the things that you guys need to know. The adjustments that are being made, and some things that aren't working, something that will be working. So, like, subscribe, leave your comments below, share it around. Definitely get it out there into your cryptocurrency markets, friends. You know, if you don't have the profit trailer, and you probably do because you're watching this, definitely check the links down below. I'll get all this stuff, and we'll definitely we'll see if we can ride through the red rush wave. All right, until next time, thanks guys.